Hey friends, welcome back to my channel, Craft Plan Write. For those of you that are new here, welcome. My name is Maggie, and today's video is part of my Quick and Easy Project series. So before I start, I'd like to ask that you please watch through to the end of this video. I'll be sharing some exciting info on how you can join my new monthly Ephemera swap club. Okay, so I guess we'll get started. So what I'm going to do is show you how to make a travel size notebook / junk journal. It's fabric covered, and the inside I've used scrapbook paper. I've sewn around the edges and then filled it. Now these two journals are bound in two different ways. This one I just simply stitched everything together in one signature. And in this book, I actually did the book binding. So I punched 3 holes. I used some wax thread. And as you can see, it's attached that way. So I will go and review both methods of binding the signatures inside the journal. And again, this one is fabric covered. I've stitched around the outside of the fabric and the scrapbook paper to attach it. And it's just filled with one signature. So these two will be available in my Etsy shop, and I will put all the links below in the description box. So what I've done is cut fabric that I wanted to use as the cover, different fabric pieces, and I matched them up with different insides. Again, these are just scrapbook papers. You can use any paper that you want. You can use fabric on fabric, and then maybe cardstock in between just to give it a little more sturdiness to the cover. And then I went ahead and I stitched all the way around. Now I did these ahead of time and then picked out the different papers just to make the process go a little smoother. So I cut these about approximately 9.5 inches tall by 9.5 inches wide. And then I folded them in half, and that gives me a little over about 4 3/4 wide. So that's just the perfect size for me. And then here I chose to do a zigzag stitch all the way around. You can do a straight stitch. You can even glue it if you don't have a sewing machine or if you don't like to sew. You can use different color thread, to match the fabric or the scrapbook paper. There's a lot of different ways you can do it. This is just one way that I've done with these books. So now I'll go through the process on how I select the paper. Selecting the paper to go into each book. What I've done is gone through my stock. When I had a scrap piece of the scrapbook paper, since I had my sewing machine out, I just went ahead and stitched around it. That I'll be using this for a pocket somewhere inside of the pages. This is some more, actually this is a greeting card, a blank notebook card that I'll be using. I thought that was real pretty design. This is just a page out of a vintage magazine that I have. I'll probably use it going this way. This is a vintage writing tablet paper, coffee dyed paper, page out of a vintage novel. This is a vintage notebook paper. This is a replica book of a Sears catalog. I love the vintage listings here, so I'm going to use that. Here's some graph paper. Here's vintage page out of a dictionary. I love the discolored paper there. This is just a page of colored paper. This is some tracing paper, or typing paper actually, vintage. Page out of a garden book. Music sheet. Ledger paper. Again, out of that same book. Actually, it's a garden book. Vintage garden book. Some more coffee dyed. Another page out of a different vintage notebook that I have. This Sears Real Book catalog. And then the back side of the journal. So what I'll be doing is just folding these in half. I'll set that aside. I like the different colors on these pages. I'll give you some journal room here. And then what doesn't fit, I will cut down to the size of the cover. Some more journaling space. Actually, I think I'm going to just tear this in half. I could use that as a fold out or a tuck. Probably a little tuck. Pretty simple. In different positions in the middle. And actually, I believe this one I want to make into sort of a pocket on both sides. And I'll just put some glue on either side, and I have little tucks for journal cards or bookmarks. Tracing paper. I'll probably put the tracing paper in front of an image, that way it'll show through. You can still see that. This I'll cut down. Actually, I won't need to. Let me just do this. I could just tear it down to size. This could be a pull-out. And there you go. So now what I'll do is I'll go through and just cut the pieces to size so it's not overhanging. I'll be right back. Okay, so I have my cutter here. And then pretty much what I do is I just take it one page at a time. I just estimate, I don't really measure. This one's too tall, so I'll just cut some off the bottom. peeking out a little bit, so I need to fold it in just a bit more. Actually, I think I'm going to keep this piece for the middle. That when you open it, you can actually use it for journal cards and what have you. Let's see if I can cut through all this at one time. Yep, no problem. Nope, just a little bit more. That saves some time. There you go. Oh, we have that one in the middle. Let's see where we can tuck this one in. How about right in between these two smaller pieces? There we go. So just a mix of different types of papers, book pages, journaling pages, blank pages, decorative pages, little tucks or pocket that'll fold out. Okay, this one's a little thicker, so I don't think I'm going to be sewing it. I'm going to go ahead and use the book binding method with my awl and the waxed string. So I will go ahead and get what I need, and I will be back to show you how I put it together. So what you'll need to put it together, or this is what I use to poke the holes and to string it through, is what I do is kind of position the papers where you want them. And you can either I use these jumbo paper clips to keep them in place. Or if you don't have the jumbo paper clips, you can use these binding clips. Or you can use both. You'll need an awl or something sharp and thick to put the holes in it. You'll need some type of, I use wax string. I find that it's easier to thread into the needle and it's more durable. And then of course you'll need the wide needle. And I like to use a thicker one. It punches a bigger, or it goes through a bigger hole. And then to measure, it's usually 2 times the length of your book. So 1, 2, and just a little bit more for good measure. Very simple to thread through. And then I actually have a homemade device. I had my husband do this for me, and it makes this process so easy. It's just a piece of board with 2 pieces here, and he just kind of dug that out for me. What I do is I put my books right in here. I just eyeball the middle, so I'm going to puncture 3 holes. I just eyeball the middle. I don't really measure. And I just push the awl through. I bring it up and then make sure that it goes all the way through the thickness. And then I just kind of measure here. Again, just eyeballing. Making sure that it goes through. And then just kind of eyeballing it again. The distance from here to here. We'll go with right there. So before I had this device, I actually used an old book just to sort of absorb the awl. You know, so like I had the book here and I just punctured through and then it would just pierce through the book. And then what I do is if you want your knot on the inside, you start from the inside. If you want the knot on the outside, you start on the outside. So actually vice versa. And then you start in the middle. So I'm going to, no, that's right. This will be the tail end that I tied together. So you just want to leave a couple of inches long. You start in the middle. You go through. You leave a tail. You go through to the top. Pull the top. You go down to the bottom. And then again through the middle. Real simple. And you pull the tail through. And then I like to put it underneath there. And just tie 2 knots. And I leave a little tail. You can always put beads on here, little dangles. And there you have it. Quick and easy. Now, if I wanted to sew on any of the pages, I would have done so before I bound them together. I can actually just put a little bit of glue on the pages that I want to make into a little pocket. And there you go. Junk journal, real quick. So I'll do another video on how I make ephemera to put into this junk journal with scrap pieces and pieces that I download off of my site, and get it going here. So that was pretty quick and easy, right? So I made a couple more ahead of time, which included these two that I showed earlier. And these will be listed in my shop. So if you wanted to purchase, these have different papers. These are loaded with tags already, different embellishments and ephemera. Little tabs out of fabric. Little tucks. I did some sewing. Journaling space, some tapestry bits, a tag, has some burlap and a little tag. This one's a Paris themed. This one's similar. It just has different images and different types of fabric. A little tuck. So yeah, so take a look on the description box below. It'll have the links to purchase these journals, and as I make them, I will go ahead and list them. So depending on when you watch this video, we'll see what's available. I've sold a few already, so the selection might be different than what you're watching now. These are just unique, one-of-a-kind journals. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. And if you want to see more of my content in the future, be sure to hit the subscribe button and notification bell. Oh, and before you go, I wanted to tell you a little bit more about my new Ephemera Swap Club. It's a monthly membership, which means that every month you'll get matched with a partner, either within the US or worldwide, just really depending on your mailing preference. And you swap handmade ephemera. You also get unlimited access to my digital library. It includes a huge variety of digital images, such as full kits that I've created, envelopes, tags, vintage photos, stamps, and about anything else you can think of to help you create ephemera for the swap. So why should you join? Well, that's a great question, and I'm glad you asked. It's a great way to join other junk journal gals just like you. You may not have a great big stash. You maybe have a stash, but you're kind of, stumped on ideas and what to do. It's wonderful to receive and get ideas from other crafters. It's a great way to build up your stash with unique and creative pieces from other gals. It gives you the unlimited monthly access to my huge digital library. It allows you to download and print a great selection of images to help create your handmade ephemera. And if you're anything like me, you love getting happy mail. It's a great thing to see this beautiful package. It's beautifully designed, and knowing it's going to be full of goodies. It's a great feeling, especially these days. And most of all, you'll be joining a community of fantastic ladies that have already been swapping in part of my club for months now. So I'll go ahead and put the link down below to sign up, and it'll give you more information. And because it's a monthly membership, you can join at any time. So I hope to see you in the club joining us, and I hope you have a wonderful day. Bye for now.